with anything that's technically demanding, like shooting a basketball, doing whatever, you need to do it very frequently if you want to be good at it. Like if Steph Curry only shot threes twice a week, we probably wouldn't know who the fuck he is.
This week, Austin sits down with Dylan Cooper, or as many people know him, Dozer. He's an athlete, coach, and all around animal in the weight room. Throughout the episode, they dive down multiple rabbit holes and cover everything Olympic lifting related. If you have recently embarked on your own Oli journey, like Austin, this is an episode for you. Thank you for listening and enjoy the episode.
Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about the Jochum Strength Insider. The Insider is our online training platform that takes everything we talk about on this podcast, better movement, smarter training, and actually enjoying the process, and turns it into something you can live and breathe. Our goal is simple: create better movers who feel stronger, more capable, and more confident in their bodies. We do that through a holistic approach that includes everything from sprinting and lifting to mobility and spinal movements. Inside the Insider, we run several distinct programs: building better movers for foundational athletic development, a dedicated Olympic lifting program, the Get Yoked series for pushing strength and physique, and washed up movers for lifters who want to keep training hard without beating themselves into the ground. We also offer focused options like a vertical jump program and at-home training, so you're never forced into a one-size-fits-all plan. You're not just getting a program, you're getting full access to our app with video demos, progress tracking, a community Discord, and direct communication with a Jochum Strength coach. Plus our 30-page nutrition and lifestyle guideline covering how we eat, train, and build habits with our athletes. If you want to make training fun again, use code podcast25 at checkout for 25% off your first program. Hope to see you there. All right, big dog, it is time. Welcome to the podcast. Let's go.
Thanks, dude. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so I gotta tell a little bit of a story here. When I met you, when Tim was the dude that introduced us, he said I was lifting with Dozier. And I was so new to the Olympic lifting world, I had no idea who you were. Like, no idea. He just
Yeah.
like said I'm lifting with Dozier. I like looked you up real quick. I'm like, oh, this dude's kind of a monster. And I walked into the gym. I don't know if you remember this, but the like no music was on. I don't know if Tim and I were late or like got off the flight or whatever it was, but you were already warming up your snatches. And I just
Yeah.
walk into you ripping 330 on a snatch. And I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like this dude is gonna snatch our clean today. But I we like posted that video. I posted it on YouTube, did it, and I went back home and all my buddies who are like hardcore like Olympic lifting geeks, he's like,
Oh, really?
you did not just fucking get the lift with Dozier and have no idea who this dude was. But I was like, yeah, dude, it was fucking sick. He was super dope. And then I've been following your shit ever since. So it was kind of a cool connection. Shout out Tim.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
What a fun session that was, dude.
Yeah, dude, you were trying to teach me how to fucking not forehead snatch. And we've been doing good,
It's
dude.
been looking better.
It's been improving.
I've been watching. It's looking better.
Yeah. So
Every
from
time I start
there,
working,
you,
dude,
you were
no one's
teaching you
gonna
were
cut
teaching
off.
a snatch. You were like helping me out a little bit. I continued on. I think I worked with K Dot for like a couple more months. And when I was with K Dot, we were doing a lot of like softball. So it was like kind of a hybrid program, like an athletic program with the oldies. And then when I finished up with him in the 3 months, I hopped on the dog pack for 3 months, right? And that was my first exposure to an actual Olympic lifting program with like a high frequency approach to like we were snatching and cleaning pretty much every single day. And the improvement from that was pretty crazy. Like the
Yeah.
strength levels were solid, everything was like increasing there, but that high frequency approach was something that was super new to me when it came to always and just like any lifts. Like I had never really got into approach. I've always done like the athletic approach where you like doing like upper lower splits or maybe like full body days, but you're never really ripping the actual lifts like it's a skill. Like you're never lifting
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again. What's kind of like the thought process and approach when you're programmed for the dog pack and the importance of that high frequency approach? Maybe it's just with ollies or just like lifts in general.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been coached by some pretty credible coaches throughout my weightlifting career, and the one thing that all of them did is they programmed very high frequency in the Olympic lifts or the variations of the Olympic lifts because it's like it's such a technically demanding thing to do, and you have to like with anything that's technically demanding, like shooting a basketball, doing whatever, you need to do it very frequently if you want to be good at it. Like if Steph Curry only shot threes twice a week, we probably wouldn't know who the fuck he is. So you got to do it a lot. And finding a way to do that in a way that does not, I don't know, overtrain you is kind of tough, but there's definitely ways around it through variation and stuff like that. But I think if you truly want to get better at Olympic weightlifting, and that's the sole purpose of every program I put out, then you got to do snatch and clean and jerk pretty much every single time you're in the gym or some variation of it. Because if you're not doing it, you're simply just not going to get better at them, especially if you're new. If you're more experienced, it's a little different, but if you're brand new, you got to get the barbell over your head as much as you can.
Yeah, dude, and like it always made sense to me in the like skill acquisition world of like the football world, even like the baseball world, where it's like, yeah, you want to get better at your sport, like you got to go fucking practice it. And
Yeah.
like the Steph Curry analogy is a perfect one, and it like had made sense. And then it goes to the weight room, and it's like you were talking about. The thing that's tough is you can overtrain in the weight room. Obviously, you can overtrain on the field, but it's like it's not like you're putting 500 pounds on the bar when you're on the field, right? Like you can kind of do a lot of low intensity stuff. You can do a lot of skill stuff, and you can recover from it pretty quickly. And that was one of the cool things. I was like, oh, you can actually program this. You just maybe like a speed buster day, or I remember like Tuesday, Thursdays were sometimes the lighter days we're doing faster. But those days, dude, like they add up. Like I realized like how quickly they're adding up, and just like the different feel and that was one of the really cool things that I got from your program is the different feel of moving a bar at like 65 to even like 80% versus 85 to 100% and how you can get work on things in that 65 to 80% or just move a bar quickly and it almost gives you like a different end of the spectrum to work to where I never felt like I was like burning myself out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the more opportunity you can give yourself to figure shit out, the better off you're going to be. So like if you, those Tuesday and Thursday sessions that you mentioned, like it's not going to really, you're going to look at the program and you're going to be like, oh, this is going to be very easy. Like this seems like busy work, but you could go into that session and like have a light bulb moment doing something because it's so easy. You're like, let me try a little something on this. And it's like, oh shit, that felt really good. Then you take it into the Friday or the Wednesday, if that's the next day, and it's like it still feels good. All of a sudden, that Thursday that didn't mean anything, that was the most productive session of the whole month. So like just giving yourself an opportunity to really fucking figure shit out and having plenty of volume and plenty of frequency in the program to give yourself those opportunities while not overtraining. That's kind of the balance you need to strike. But just you got to have some liberty to play around with the lifts a little bit and have fun with them.
Well, that's the thing I tell people a lot in the like swinging world and the softball world too. Is like you never know when that light bulb moment's going to be, and it's just kind of a numbers game. It's like a lottery ticket of like show up, like so maybe the day is trash and that's just not your day, but you got that day out of the way, so the next day hopefully could be a better day or a day where you have that light bulb moment. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it's like we try to like outsmart it and like we're gonna do this thing this day, but you have no idea what your body's gonna be like that day, or what your brain's gonna be like, or what the feel to the bar or the bat is gonna be like that day. And that was one of the really cool things is like I just gave myself more chances at that lottery ticket, more chances
Yeah.
at that light bulb moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's how good shit happens. Like if you compete a lot, you're going to get much better at competing, that kind of thing. I know a lot of weightlifters that don't like getting on the platform and competing until they're like completely ready. I'm like, if you want to be a competitive weightlifter and you're not in competition, like you're going to have to make that up at some point. You got to get good at competing. So I'm like, if you want to be competitive, compete every fucking month. Like I don't care how, like you're going to learn a lot more getting out on that platform when you're not ready. Just like acquire the skills.
And with the Oli lifts, and this is one of the things that I've really been like loving about it, is it really truly is the balance between like the skill aspect and the power aspect, right? Like all the other sports, there is a like there's a strength aspect. You have to be powerful. You have to have like some things, but it's way more removed than the Olis, where like you can have beautiful technique, you see it all the time, and guys are just weak, right? Like they're just not strong, or they're just undertrained, and they just can't get a bar up. They can't move it.
Yeah.
And you can be really strong, you can have a lot of really good numbers, and you can be fucking god awful at snatching like me, and it's not gonna work, right? So it's like that perfect kind of like balance of the middle ground of that skill and technique and the power outputs and the strength outputs. How do you like work on balancing that with people that you're coaching or people that you're working on? Is there one aspect that you lean more towards? Is it just trying to like concurrently hit both things? Like what's kind of that approach?
So I always push strength. I like strength. The thing is, if you're doing weightlifting and you're doing programming that I'm writing or just programming that's out there, most of the programming you're going to have enough frequency to eventually develop good snatch and clean and jerk technique. Like if you're doing it frequently, you're going to get good at it. But a lot of people will overemphasize the technique portion of it and just hyper fixate on it and ignore getting strong. Like you have to be strong. The guy that squats 500 pounds and has never done a snatch in his life is going to snatch more than the guy that squats 135 pounds. Like that there just shows like strength is going to get you farther than perfect technique will. So if you have done the Olympic, it took me like probably 8 years until my technique was like where I wanted it to be. And like it, no matter how much bar work you do and stuff like that, it's probably still going to take 8 years. You might be a little more confident with it, but it takes a while to develop technique. So you might as well make developing strength kind of a target while you're going through that. Because if you're just hyper fixated on, timing and copying Team China's technique and like years are going to go by quick and you're gonna be like, shit, I haven't snatched 100 kilos yet. Fuck. And I see it happen all the time. You just
Dude,
got to keep
dude, when
on.
I started the Ola journey, I did like I like approached it in the fun way of like it sounds like something fun to do, something I haven't done before. We cleaned in high school, so like the clean was easier to pick back up than the
Yeah.
snatch where we had never touched a snatch, and that's like a brand new movement. But like there's so many people just kind of like yelling and pissed in my DMs, like going back and forth about like stuff. And I like go to their page and I'm like, this has been their only sport for
Yeah.
most of their life. And they're like still doing like PVC pipe stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, and like snatching less than me, which is crazy. I'm like, I kind of felt bad in a little sense. I'm like, you guys are trapped in this like mental model. Like, there's no way you guys should have spent this much time doing this thing while
Yeah.
snatching less than me. Well, I've been doing this for like a year. I'm like, and like not being able to see that, you know what I mean? Like not being able to see the bar is not moving more. You're not moving more weight. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
You see it all the time, dude. And I think the main reason is because like even for me, my like Instagram did much better when every post was like some kind of technique post. Like I was gaining like 5,000 followers a month. Things were great. And I was like, I want to post my fucking training. I want to like really post how I like my weightlifting philosophy and stuff. And then it was just like screeching halt. It's like whatever. But like technique sells. When you get an athlete in the gym and you're teaching them weightlifting, if you spend 30 minutes doing snatch technique, then you spend 30 minutes doing clean technique, then you spend 30 minutes doing jerk technique, and they're figuring things out, that's going to feel a lot better than you being like, we're going to snatch and clean and jerk. We're going to get those done in 40 minutes. Then we're going to squat. Like, no one's going to come back if you're like, get in the fucking squat rack. That's how we're going to get good. Like, you're not going to have returning clients that way. So I don't know. It is a tough balance, but I think you can never go wrong just getting strong as hell.
Do you have a process of like getting people to buy into like, dude, at some point you just have to pick up the fucking bar?
Yeah, I don't really try to get people to buy into it. I'm like, it's got to be inside of them already. If they don't want to squat and get strong, they're not going to squat and get strong. If they really want to get strong, then they'll do it. They'll do whatever they have to do. And those are the people that are definitely the best to coach. The people that are just like, I'm down. I'll squat fucking every day. I don't care. I want to get good. Those are the athletes you you don't want to let go of. Those are the fun ones.
And so, with somebody like you that has been doing this sport for a ridiculous amount of time, what
Mhm.
is the process of like trying to have those light bulb moments? Is it just like I'm relating it to my swing to where now it's more like I'm almost like cycling through things that work at certain points in like whether it's the day, like I'm adjusting, okay, this cue worked 3 months ago and now it's not working and now something else is working and it's like clicking in this way. And how do you go through the process of like not not being stuck in a certain way? Is it just like the technique just feels good now and then you're set? Like, well, what's kind of your mental approach for yourself when you're training to try and like get those next light bulb moments?
I honestly think now I am at the point to where I like don't really feel the need to focus on tech. Like I know when my lifts feel right and I know when I need to work on things. And typically I can go from out of shape to getting my lifts feeling right in about 4 weeks. But it's really easy for me because like I've gone through the process so many times of being out of shape and getting back into shape to where I like, all right, my overhead position still feels like shit. I need to make sure I'm doing these things to open it back up. That way we can hit proper positions and our technique's going to fall into place. But for me, yeah, I don't think I really have that urge to get the technique any better as of
And
right now.
is there, let's say like there's some technique Nazi that like is looking at your lifts. Is there something they would say like is off or wrong?
Yeah.
And you like had to go through the process of like listening that for a long time and now like finally being able to like accept, no, this is my technique. This is what
Yeah.
worked for me, whether it's like you slow-mo video it or not. Like, are there things like that?
Yes, 100%. I get pretty far behind the bar on snatch. When I pull the bar off the floor on snatch, a lot of the times my heels will come off the ground a little bit because I'm like all through my toes. But like that's shit that's worked for me. I think that works for me because my levers are really long. So if I get the weight further forward in my foot, I'm gonna feel a little bit more comfortable. And that brings up like an important point. The thing with technique is like if there's no such thing as perfect technique. It does not exist. There's technique that works for you. And if you find it's like a golfer trying to find their swing. If they find it and it works for them and it's repeatable and they can do it consistently and they know the feel of it, like you're locked in. Keep that get really strong, don't lose it, and then you're going to get good. But if you acquire this technique that's really, really good and you're like, something's not right, this could be better, you're going to get in this loop of overthinking over and over and over again. You're never going to have confidence in your lifts. You're never going to be satisfied. If you get to a point to where you're feeling good, just fucking let yourself feel good. Be like, we made it. Let's get strong and fuck, we're good at weightlifting. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a moment where you accepted that yourself? Because like I'm thinking back to my swing, there's so many times where like I started to nitpick things and like when you start to nitpick and overthink, like it just goes to shit. Like and it's like
Yeah.
all the good things you were doing are now out the window while you're trying to like chase this imaginary perfectness or and a lot of times like what you think is perfect or what like it's not. Like that's the reason
Yeah.
it doesn't work. That's the reason a lot of times you're not doing it, especially if you are at a high level like yourself. Like did you have a moment where you're like, fuck this, dude, like this just isn't working. I am doing it right for my body and my
Yeah.
levers.
I think I reached that point when I was able to make like fast adjustments in a training. Like when I would start missing, I would be able to like feel what's going wrong and make an adjustment really fast and fix it. Once I was able to do that pretty much every time things were going wrong, or just know that it wasn't there that day, then I was like, okay, like I'm very locked in with my technique right now. I don't think it needs to improve at all. I don't think like if I spent the next 6 to 12 months really just dialing in my technique, it might add 2% to my total. But if I spent that time squatting my ass off, we're talking 10%. So like I'm gonna go with the squats.
The return on investment is much better there.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
way sicker to squat a bunch of weight.
Yeah, dude. Feels good. Gain
What
weight. It's awesome.
how do you balance that with maybe like a meathead that is just like they're objectively wrong about their technique? Like it is like it's something like what's that balance like where it's like no you do need to fix this, you do need to go back and fix this, or is that just really not the case? Like what's that process?
Typically, with those guys, you will use technique as like the governor for their lifting. So like your PR is what you can lift properly rather than what you can lift. And that is like if you get ex-football bros that like love just cranking heavy weights and you throw that on them, they're gonna fucking hate you. But eventually it does come around because they're gonna get so frustrated and be like, what? What? Okay, let's just figure this shit out so we can lift. I'm tired of not lifting enough. It's a it's a good tactic. But honestly, like these days, you don't run into a lot of people that think you don't need technique for the Olympic lifts. I think people are now, because a lot of people have tried it now. Pretty much everyone's like tried a snatch or a clean and jerk, and they know how fucking hard it is. Like if they're gonna get into it, they know what's coming for them.
And when it gets to the Olympic lifts, we have the strength piece, we have the skill piece. The other piece I feel like that, and I say this because myself struggles with this, is like kind of that mobility piece and like actually being able to like, okay, now you have the idea about and like the process of doing something technically, right? You're trying to do it. You have the strength to be able to do it. You just don't have like the access to be able to get into those positions. What's kind of that process of like opening a meathead up?
A lot of the times, it's just going through full range of motion under load because you can throw a really strong guy on the ground and stretch him and get them as flexible as possible. But if they're not supporting weight in those end ranges, they're going to lose. Like it's not going to do anything for them. It's like they can get their arms way back there, but they can't hold a bar back there. So like the balance of yes, it's important to warm up, get loose, do all that, but if you like struggle with snatch overhead stuff, warm up with a piece to where you're doing something snatch overhead, like snatch balance, snatch push press plus overhead squat, and really focus on sitting all the way in the bottom. Maybe do some like snatch sots press, stuff like that. I found that acquiring new ranges of motion through movement under load is so much more effective than just stretching people out. And you know the range of strength guy?
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of his stuff and like a lot of the stretching he does, almost all of it is like there's some band pulling on him, there's some weight pressing down on him. And we're like, if you're doing Olympic weightlifting and you're already strong, and chances are if you're really immobile, you're pretty strong if you're in the gym. Like just bending over and trying to touch your toes, you're probably not going to accomplish anything with that. You if you're squatting 400 pounds, what is leaning over going to do? Like there's your tissues aren't going to adapt to that. There's no stimulus. So like you need to, I don't know, throw a fucking plate, have your friend push your back down towards your leg. Like just do something, like band distracted stretches. Do something to where there's like added force because we're so used to moving with added weight.
And it also like I really like the efficiency of it too when you would program let's say it's a complex or just a different snatch variation where it's a little bit lighter weights, but you're working through. It almost felt like you're working on technique and feel. You're
Mhm.
building some strength and some muscle while you're doing this exercise, and you're getting the mobility piece, right? Like you're doing the three birds, one stone instead of like you were talking about, okay, 30 minutes mobility, 30 minutes technique, and then like what? We have 20 minutes left to train. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the efficiency of doing the ollies has been one of the biggest things that I've loved about this Olympic lifting journey is like I can kind of do a lot of the things I want to do in two lifts in
Yeah.
like it has saved myself so much time and it just is way less mentally taxing of like I have a 17 fucking exercise checklist I got to go through today.
Yeah. I mean, weightlifting is a demanding sport, and the only exercises that'll help you meet that demand very efficiently and quickly are the snatch and the clean and jerk. Like there's no replacing those exercises to get good at weightlifting. It will hit everything that needs to be hit across the board: strength, mobility, explosiveness, power, speed, like everything you want to hit. Snatch and clean and jerk will do that for you. Um, yeah, there's no replacing it. That's why I think getting a barbell in your hands and actually just doing the lifts is the most important thing you could possibly do if you want to get better at the sport. Which sounds crazy to even have to say. It's like telling a golfer the most important part of getting good at golf is getting out there and hitting golf balls. It's like, obviously. But for some reason, we overcomplicate the shit out of everything now. And it's like, am I doing programming? I'm like, are you snatching? Are you clean and jerking? It's like, you're doing fine. Just keep doing it. It's like, why am I not getting better? I'm like, because you're doing one of the hardest strength sports ever. Just like chill, give it time. You'll get there.
But it's also not, I mean, I'm gonna say it's even better in the golf or the baseball world. Like both
Mhm.
of those are two sports that I kind of like watch from afar and like work with athletes from. And
Yeah.
like the amount of questions they have or like mental masturbation they have on videos and like weird drills, I'm like, dude, you haven't swung this week, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, all this stuff is great. Like, I'm not saying any of it's bad. Like, like, I learned a ton from watching your videos, and like, it's really cool to watch your videos and like learn something or pick up something or like, okay, he's talking about this. But then, what's cool about that is listening to that and then going to try it, like actually implementing it. But if you're not swinging the fucking bat, like, it's not gonna work, man.
I mean, I always think of it like if you were to remove something from an athlete's training, like let's talk about golfers again. If you had a golfer, you could remove cardio, they'll be fine. You could remove gym or like strength training, they'll be fine. If you remove going to the driving range, now they're fucked. Like you have to just do the sport that you're doing. Like there's no way around it. As much as people don't want to snatch and clean and jerk, sometimes you got to do it.
So one thing I haven't heard you talk a ton about, and I know this isn't like your main focus, but a lot of our almost everybody that we train is not an Olympic lifter. They will do ollies for their sport, ollies for the thing that they're trying to get better at, for the power production it allows them to do, maybe for the ability to like compact a lot of things into a couple lifts. What's kind of your thought process on like using ollies for these other sports and the benefits they provide and like maybe how you would go about changing the programming for somebody like that?
I think it's so good. I mean, even I've been around some NFL combine training. I used to train out at Cal Strength. When Dave Spitz was doing like getting 20 college football athletes ready for the combine, they would all do the Olympic lifts very frequently. But it was more so they're doing whatever their mobility allows them to do. Um, Obviously, if you have a offensive lineman who benches 480 pounds and is an absolute house, you're probably not going to have him doing full snatches because he's probably not going to get anything from that. So just implementing like even if they need to do pulls or something like that, I think just getting a barbell in your hands and figuring out how to use your legs and put force into a barbell is so good when it comes to any sort of athletic movement at all, like jumping, running, if you're playing football, fucking running into people, like knowing how to use the ground below you to create force is, I think Olympic lifts give you that feel better than maybe anything. I can't really think of anything that will teach you to use the floor to create power quite like the Olympic lifts.
Yeah, and this the sequencing is something that I've really been picking up on. And for me, it's a little different between like the snatch and the clean. Like the clean, it just feels like, and maybe it's just because I have so many more reps with the clean to where it's like just from the high school days of like the clean feels like very masculine. Like I'm just like, we're going, we're getting after this bar, we're fucking moving it. It feels very stimulus based. But the cool thing about the snatch is, dude, it feels exactly like a fucking good swing when you get a good snatch, where it's
Yeah.
like you can grip and rip a bat as hard as you want and like pretend like you're a muscle head and you're gonna swing it as hard as you want. But if you don't hit the right, like the ball at the right spot at the right time, and like there's a little bit of relaxation there, there's a little bit of whip there, and almost like your best swings at your highest exit velos felt like you did nothing. And when you get a good snatch, it kind of feels the same way. And that's when I really started to relate like the snatch to some of these other things of just getting an athlete in a controlled environment to feel some of those sequencing pieces, to be like the skill and allowing yourself to express the power that you have rather than just like everything is "Urgh," which I think a lot of football guys specifically, and that's a lot of our population that we train, it's just like
Mm.
everything is like more harder squeeze, and then you
Yeah.
tell them to like, okay, is that what you do when you pass rush? No. Like if you just bull rush the entire time, that offensive lineman's gonna fuck you up by the end of the game, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to have some moves, you have to have some like sequencing in there, and I feel like the snatch is a really cool way to like train that in a controlled environment.
It just teaches finesse like under load. It's kind of a
Yeah.
weird thing, but I love it. I mean, back to golf again, but like people always, I play a lot of golf, so I always bring it up. It's so closely related to weightlifting, but people always talk about like everyone sucks at golf unless you're like good, right? If you play for 3 years and you play every week, you can still be absolutely terrible at golf. But there's always that like one swing that keeps you coming back. Like you're on the course and you put something to 4 feet from 200 yards. You still shoot a 97 that day, but you did that. So it's like weightlifting's the same fucking thing. You can have a terrible day, but you can have one snatch that you think about for like 2 weeks. Like I got to get back in the gym and find whatever that was because that was fucking awesome. You never find it. You find something new along the way, but it's cool to try at least.
Yeah, dude, the ollies have for sure been one of the most addicting like lifting. Like I've tried a lot of things just in the fun journey of like fitness, and the ollies are one of the most addicting in that sense because it is one of the few things that is gives you that feel of that skill and being able to develop those things as you go forward.
Yeah. So.
Um, when you are like you're at the point where you've been in this field, you've been coaching for a long time, you've probably been through tons of programs. What has been like the process of like working through some of the things maybe coaches have had you try in the past? Maybe you just like got all hyped up about a new training technique, right? Like maybe it was like velocity-based training. Maybe you're switching from like percentage-based to RPE. And like when you're on the dog pack, a lot of it is percentage-based. Like what
Mhm.
is like how did you get to the point in which you're at now where it is percentage-based, you are picking that up and or is that percentage-based just because it's easier for the masses to be able to do? Is it like there's something that you would change about it? Like yeah, just like kind of the different training modalities that everybody talks about. Everybody swears by their train. They swear by VBT. They swear by percentages. They swear by like RPE, whatever it is. Like, how have you gotten through the process of like working through all these things and staying with where you're at and being comfortable with that?
I think the percentages are definitely it just is easier to put out a program that way, especially for the Olympic list. Like I always say, you can there's this line with Olympic weightlifting. You can never cross that line. You can get as close to as you want to that line, but once you train too hard and you cross that line, you got to reset. Even if you just jump over that line for a second, like it's going to have a trickle down effect to your training. And with the use of percentages, I can make sure we stay under that line. Just the overall load throughout the week, the demand on the nervous system, all that stuff. If I'm able to use percentages, I'm able to keep us going. If in the perfect world, if I had like an athlete that I was coaching in person, I saw him at the gym every day, it would more so be like, let's work up to some heavy triples in the snatch. Like it wouldn't be like 4 by 3 at 70%. It
Mm.
would be let's feel out some triples. Let's see how we feel. We might go to doubles. Um, I don't think Olympic weightlifting training needs to be so perfected. I think there's a lot of nuance to weightlifting, more so than like a powerlifting when where there's way less variation or variables. Like if you're powerlifting, you go up and down and up, and you figure it out. Like it's there's not going to be a day where like you can't sit in the bottom of a squat very well. Like if you do it every day, you're going to be able to do a squat. If you bench every day, you're going to be able to bench. But there's going to be some days in weightlifting where you go to do snatches and something's just not right. And if you're on a program with percentages, it's going to be hard to navigate that sometimes. But so if I had like a athlete with me, I'd be like, let's feel out some snatches. Let's aim for like 7 to 8 out of 10 difficulty and see what that's like. And then if depending on how it looks, we'll go from there.
And is that how you program for yourself currently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like a feeling I know I want to achieve.
Yep.
So like I don't even have like a metric for this. I don't have like anything. I will visualize like what I want to lift to feel like before I go do it, what I want my sets to feel like, and then I'll find that number and just hang out there.
And I know you've talked about this before. I think it was actually recently we're comparing like Olympic lifting and the powerlifting. But one of the things I've realized since picking up Ollie's is how much simpler the big three lifts become. Like, dude, I have squatted more and deadlifted. Obviously, there's a strength piece and like doing. I think I'm doing as many pulls as I've added into my program just from doing the Ollies. Like, even if I'm snatching, like it's some sort of pull that I wasn't doing before. Like I'm hitting 5 sets of 3 at like 70. That's 15 reps of a pull that you weren't doing before. So like there's some physiological piece to it. But dude, the biggest thing that I've picked up on is now it's like throw some fucking weight on the squat bar and you squat it up and down, and it's so simple now, dude. It's
Yeah.
so simple. Whereas before, like, I was getting myself hyped to squat. I was like going through, and now it's just like, dude, I squat way more weight now, and it's way easier for me to just mentally do it because because the ollies are so like taxing in the sense of like you have to fucking focus and bring intense. And I thought that was such a like really cool piece of the Olympic lift, like adding in the Olympic lifts is like it almost makes the regular lifts easier. And I was not expecting that going into it.
Yeah, it's like the weighted bat of strength movements. If you can do those, everything else can be pretty fucking easy.
Yeah, that's a good analogy there. What has kind of been the process of staying healthy? And I know you've had some injuries in the past too,
Yeah.
but we talk about the how demanding Olympic lifting is. And as I've started, and like, dude, it was kind of like a linear process of like, as I got up to like 350 pounds on my clean, everything was improving, everything was amazing, and like everything outside of Olympic lifting, I should say.
Yeah.
And then once I started to be able to hit like 350 and like that became a training max and then 365 and then 375 and all my numbers started to come up and my training numbers started to go up. Then it started to be like I started to all like I was Olympic lifting to Olympic lift because it was so taxing. Like what's your process of staying healthy and fresh in the best way possible to not like kill yourself when it comes to ollies? Because there's some days, dude, where I'm pushing for this 405 and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna actually snap my spine in half.
Yeah. I mean, honestly think the process I have for that, I wouldn't have it unless I'd been hurt. So
Mhm.
like if I never got hurt, I wouldn't know the signals that my body was giving me when it's like getting risky. Because I tore my quad, I had to get surgery on my quad tendon and repair that. I've had a bunch of other injuries,
Was that
but
from
now
squatting? Ollie, what were you doing?
I caught a power clean.
Okay.
Right when I caught a power clean, it just popped.
Oh,
And
fuck.
then I trained on it for 6 months while I was torn. But like I knew the fatigue that I was feeling going into that session. The lifts did not feel right when I was working up, but I was like, don't be a bitch. We gotta fucking do this. And so being able to just decipher like when I'm actually being a bitch versus when things are getting dangerous and
Hmm.
like I'm actually fatigued and I actually need to chill out. I've become very in tune with those signals that my body is giving me. So now I know it's like I can wake up in the morning, walk around a little bit, feel how my body's feeling, and be like, today's not the day. But before it was like, today has to be the day.
Has to be the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get over that barrier of like it doesn't have to be the day? You set the ego to the side a little bit.
Honestly, it was when I made the decision to stop competing. Because now there's no pressure. Now I can be like, I can take today off. I can go lighter today. Like I don't have a meet on this date that I need to get ready for. And if I take one day off, the whole cycle's ruined. Like I can be like, I'm not feeling good this week. Like let's pull back a little bit. Let's play smart so I can keep lifting. But when there's a meet just hanging over your head, just this dark cloud, like you got no choice. You got to put the hammer down, and then it's like, or you tell yourself, it's like, all right, we have that meet, let's just calm down, let's chill out for a day. And then you start chilling out, and then the thoughts of like, what if you bomb out because of this? Like just terrible shit comes into your head.
And
So
it's
like,
just like it's so stupid because it's like you have hundreds of training days leading up
yeah,
into that meet and you feel
yeah.
like it's the one day made everything, made and broke everything.
I would have thoughts like, if I go have a bad meet, I'm gonna think back to this moment right here. And just like that shit would cross my mind. But now it's like I don't have a meet, I don't compete. I'm just lifting because I want to. And I know that the biggest benefit is going to be staying healthy. So if I get to the point to where my body's feeling fucked up, then I have no problem being like, let's do what we have to do to chill out. Like I was sick, what was it, last weekend or the week before? The weekend before last. And I was like feeling a little weird. And I was just like, I just took Saturday off. Like if I was competing, I would have never done that. And I would still probably be dragging from trying to train through that. So if you can find that balance, like if for those that are competing or want to compete, like if you don't feel right and you truly are like feeling like you're getting injured, like you can barely do an air squat because your knees hurt so bad, your wrists hurt so bad you can't put a bar in the front rack, then it's like it's all right to fucking chill out a little bit. It's probably going to end up being a net positive in the long run.
What's been the process like for you of switching from a person that is competing in this to a person that is doing this for like the love of the game? And obviously you have your business, you have everything. So like I
Yeah.
think that's another really cool like I think it's a really helpful piece when it comes to social media and like having a business around this that like not a lot of fitness influencers like talk about. Like we just tell people to like go be mentally tough and like show up at the gym. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, we have a fucking we get paid to go do this,
It's
right?
yeah,
Like
it's
there's a big
very
incentive for us to go do this. But like what has been that shift like you for you mentally and also in the process of like now you don't have a coach, like you're coaching yourself. Maybe now you don't have as many training partners, like you're not at Cal Strength where like everybody's around you. You have a coach there, you have like people training there. Like what has that been mental shift? Is it better for you? Do you feel like you miss any of it? Is it like what's that process?
Uh, I was always very like I put a lot of pressure on myself always. I thought I was like supposed to like go to the Olympics the whole time. And like towards the later parts of my career, which is crazy because like the later parts of my like competitive weightlifting career, I was like 23. So I wasn't, but I'd been lifting for almost 10 years at that point. And I would just put so much pressure on myself when I would see myself not progressing the way I thought I always would. I would freak out when I would see younger athletes just fucking sprinting past my numbers. It would ruin me. And like that kind of took over weightlifting for me. Weightlifting was not lifting weights because I liked it. Lifting weights was trying to keep up with the field and trying not to disappoint myself based on the expectations that I set for myself. And then once I finally just pulled myself out of the competitive realm, I was like, you like doing this? Obviously, you've been doing it for a really long time and you still do it. I'm like, just do it. Like, don't compete. You don't like, I never liked competing. I hated it. Like, the week leading up to a meet was always like the worst week of my life. I just did not like it, but I felt like I'm a weightlifter. I should compete. And then eventually I was like, let's just lift and not compete. And it was fucking great. And I loved it. And I was so motivated to train. So I was just like, guess we're doing this now. This is fine. So it's been good ever since.
And now the cool thing is like you're almost like making Olympic lifting cool again, right? Like I enjoy like watching your videos. I enjoy watching like Will's videos, and like it motivates me to go do it because it's fun. Like it looks fun to go do it. Like looks awesome to go do it. Like you guys are having good times, even when it's not like a great day. It's just like okay, this is the process of like getting to something big. What has been that like? Do you have a like active approach to make like weightlifting cool again?
Dude, I don't think we need to make weightlifting is fucking cool. It's so hard to do. Like it is such a flex to be good at the Olympic lifts. Like if you look at those stats on like TikTok and shit, you'll see the reels where they're like only 0.001% of the people can squat 315 pounds. I'm like, how many fucking people can snatch 315 pounds? Like it is such a flex to be able to do the sport fluently that like there are things we could do to make it cooler. There's no reason darts should be cooler than weightlifting, but it
They got the
fucking
walk-up
is.
song for fucking
Yeah,
darts, dude. It's badass.
but it is. So like I don't know what we need to do. I think prize money's the big thing. I think we just people got to be excited about it. I think it's too I think it's so difficult that the barrier for entry is a little high, so people just aren't even interested in trying it, especially when powerlifting's right there for you. Um, But I don't know, maybe we need to start talking shit. Be like, you can't snatch. What's wrong with you? Kind of thing. I don't know. But I think prize money is a big thing. If we can get meets together, fucking music and a fucking LED screen behind the platform and a sick announcer, something. Big prize money, like a $25,000 meet. Best lifter wins 25 grand. Could probably throw together sponsors and make that happen. I'm not good at organization, so I'm not going to try to do that, but I'm going to talk about it until someone does.
So, we got Tim. That's what Tim's for, dude. He's the
Yeah.
best organizer out there.
Dude, talk about a guy that gets shit done.
Get shit done, dude. He's a fucking dog.
I see him
Uh,
every now and then. Like we'll grab dinner or something every now and then. He is so busy. It's crazy, but just loving it.
yeah,
It's
dude.
cool.
I'm excited to check out his new gym when it
Yeah,
opens up here.
me too. it looks fucking awesome.
When you is the Olympic lifting world like kind of like the powerlifting world where you have the old heads that kind of like frown on the like I feel like a lot of times the powerlifters and sometimes bodybuilders, but I feel bodybuilders they're making it cool again. Like they frown on content. Like they frown on people making videos
Yeah.
about this stuff. It's like just put your fucking head down and grind. It's like, dude, you
Yeah.
on one end, the softball world's kind of like this too. It's like on one end you talk about the sport dying, you talk about kids not wanting to do it, you talk about like people not going out for it or whatever. And then on the other end, you bitch about people that are like inspiring people to go do it, making it cool, making it accessible, making it like understandable in a lot of your videos where you're coaching
Yeah.
it. Like, do you face any backlash or is the Olympic lifting world pretty open about that? Like, what I don't, I'm not in it.
I try to like I understand where they're coming from for sure. There's definitely an older crowd that doesn't like the influencer crowd. And like the thing is because like there's no fucking athletes left for them to coach. They're all on a program that's online and it's like they get someone to come to their gym and it's like, "Oh, there's a weightlifter." And it's like, "Oh, I'm actually running a Catalyst program." And there's like, "Shit." Like I wanted another athlete, but they're already doing something. So I completely get why like if you've been coaching the sport for 30 years and then there's an influencer online that's been doing it for 5 and they pick the influencer's programming over the guy that's been doing it for 30 years, I could see the frustration there. But like I always try to just make sure I like respect those guys because fucking they've been doing it forever. One of my favorite videos I've ever done is when I went out to Mike Bergner's house and trained with him in his garage. And he's been coaching weightlifting for like 50 years. Like he's been in it forever. And like when the older guys see like influencers that actually love the sport, then they're on board.
Yeah,
It's the people that are just trying to like cash grab. I don't like that. I don't think anyone likes that. So yeah, I respect the older generation for sure. I think everyone.
yeah, I was gonna say, and I think that's the thing that I like talk to a lot of coaches about, like when it comes to that too. It's like if you have the 50 years of knowledge, dude, like I need to give you a camera. Like you're the one that needs to be like
Yeah.
you're not gonna beat the dude that's been in it for 2 years, has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, just is like has a six pack abs and is selling a
Yeah.
program because they have six pack abs, right? Like you're not gonna beat them by just yelling at them. Like you
Yeah.
just beat them by putting out the content you can put out because you have 50 years of experience in this thing. And obviously that's not everybody wants to do that, but I'm like, man, there's so many people out there that it's like, fuck, dude, if we just got a if we gave you a mic, you would have so many people working with you and you would do so much good for the field because you actually have the knowledge that other people are pretending to have.
Dude, I had a coach back in 2014 to 2016. His name was Don McCauley. And like if that guy was around now and we mic'd him up for training sessions, it would be a fucking gold mine. He was the best coach to ever exist. And just when he was coaching me, he was 68 years old. He passed away, but he's like you had a problem with your lifts, he would give you a cue that made you think about the problem you're having in a way that you didn't even know existed, and all of a sudden it's not a problem anymore. Like he was a fucking wizard. And like the best stretch of training I've ever had, he was coaching me closely like every day. That was the best my technique ever was. Like he was the fucking man. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like that now. There's definitely a lot of coaches that I know of that don't get enough credit, but like it's just hard to get that credit nowadays. You have to be social media savvy. It's a requirement.
Yeah. What's the process been like of not having a coach now? Like, is that like, because that was one of the things like when I switched off. So I ran K Dot's program for 3 months, I ran your program for 3 months, and now I'm running this velocity based program for 3 months. And the thing that I'm realizing is like when I write my own programs, it's almost like it's like one it's like you lose like a little not faith in it but it's like wait little excitement like it was always fucking awesome like Sunday like the new program was live and you didn't really know what it was and you got to go
Yeah.
get after it and obviously you have like the technical piece when you're at like the high level you're at where you're actually working with somebody that's actually fixing things like what has that process been like for you to like take away the coach and now you're coaching yourself.
I think it works really well for me. Honestly, I have never been very coachable. Like I just have. Like I was, like I feel like now I'd be way more coachable than I was early on. I was such a little shithead when I was like coming up in the sport. But now it's like I feel like I could definitely be more coachable. But I just have like I've developed a system. I do weightlifting in like these 16-week bursts. Then I take like 12 weeks off. Then I come back and do weightlifting. And like I've just developed such a good system for getting in shape. Like I know the things I need to target. I know the feelings I'm supposed to feel. I know all this stuff. So like I have a system that works really, really well for me that gets me in great shape every single time I do it without getting hurt, with no issues. And like I'm also not competing. So I don't really want a coach to be, even though if I had a coach, I would be paying them. I wouldn't want them to invest their time in me when there's like no payoff. Like they're not going to get to coach me in the back room at a meet. Nothing, they're not going to get that experience. So, um, because I'm so set in my ways, it is nice just to be able to do what I want to do. But like also, if you're hearing this and you've been doing the sport for 3 years, like I don't think that's a good thing to do. Like I think you should have a coach until you've probably been doing the sport for about at least 8 years, probably. Like you need guidance, especially if you're brand new. Like if you're just learning on YouTube, go get a one-on-one session at least once. Just go sit with a coach for an hour, be like, let's snatch and jerk. Tell me what I'm doing wrong so I know what I'm doing wrong and how to fix those things. That's all I want. You're going to get more out of that than anything you're going to find on YouTube because YouTube's going to tell you what to do. It's very rarely going to tell you, or it's you're not going to know what not to do. Like having a coach that can point stuff out. Maybe we'll have some AI app one day to where you can upload a lift and be like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. All that stuff. But for right now, I think you should absolutely just find a coach in your area that's credible, book a one-on-one session, do that as the bare minimum, and then preferably be coach for like another decade. But if you can't do that, that's fine. At least a one-on-one session.
Get something in. One of the things you talk about a lot, and you mentioned on this podcast, is like your emphasis on squats.
Yeah.
And like that was something when I was getting in the Ola worlds, is like I really thought it was like a deadlift thing of like get your deadlift up, get your pull up so that you can bring the bar up more. What's like what's the reasoning for squats? And I've heard other Olympic lifting guys talk about like squat is king, squat is king. Like why is it so important to squat a bunch of weight when the Ola lifts involve like picking up weight?
Because you almost want to think of the pull in the Olympic lifts as more of a squat than a pull. You want to be using your quads to initiate the pull off the floor. You want to be able to keep your chest up while you're pulling, and all those things can be acquired by training the back squat really, really hard. If we just train the pull, or we really emphasize the pull, we're going to have high hips. We're going to be very posterior dominant, and that's not going to translate to the Olympic lifts very well. But the way I look at it is I could do only deadlift for a year. My squat would not go up very much if I just deadlifted and did not squat. If I just squatted for a year, my deadlift would definitely go up a lot. So I just think as far as return on investment, squats are going to be the best move. I always look at everything in training as like you want to maximize what you're doing. You don't want like a bunch of fluff work in your programming with how taxing Olympic weightlifting already is. If you're doing exercises that don't really need to be done, then like you're wasting a lot of energy. That was kind of my thing with, I mentioned plyos recently, um, and how like if you're an Olympic weightlifter, you have like an hour to train 3 times a week. Do I think it's a good use of time to spend 20 minutes of that 3 hours you have a week to train doing plyos? I don't. Like I think you're gonna be much better off just doing the Olympic lifts if your main goal is to be a good Olympic weightlifter. And like there was definitely some blowback on that, but like at the end of the day, like the exercises that are going to get you best at snatch, clean, and jerk and squat are snatch, clean, and jerk and squat. So like let's make sure we're killing those. We're doing those as much as we can. And then we can start to worry about the other stuff a little bit more. But if we're like putting squats to the side to focus on pulling or to focus on like different weird accessory stuff, like no, no. Make sure the squats are there. Then if we're handling that well, then we can bring that stuff into play a little bit more.
Yeah, and when you look at your programming, it reflects it too, because like pretty much every day was a snatch, a clean, a squat, or maybe sometimes we did some pulls,
Yeah.
but then it was just like one or two accessories. When it gets to those accessories, like what makes an accessory good enough for you to be able to put it in the program and be like, okay, these are the two things you actually do need to do. Is that like a health thing? Is that just like a general like most athletes are weak in this part and we can add in just a little bit of work? It's something they can recover from. Like, what's that process of planning those last couple bits of the program out?
When it comes to accessories, it's mostly kind of a maintenance thing. It's a lot of core work to make sure you don't fuck your back up. It's a lot of like upper back, rear delt stuff to make sure you don't mess your shoulders up. It's a bunch of lunges, unilateral lower body stuff to make sure you don't mess your knees up. Um, but as far as like acquiring new levels of strength, like if we're getting such high stimulus from the core work of the program, the heavier lifts that we're doing, we're not really going to gain a lot of strength from any accessory work that we're doing. We're going to we can gain stability, we can gain mobility through the accessory work. And because of that, that's like the target for those. So there's going to be like a lot of isometric type holds. There's going to be um, just general movement that's going to be therapeutic for the body rather than like strength building. One of the main accessories you'll see me throw into a program, my squat programs and everything, is like a 5 minute walking lunge. So mindless, so easy, but the administration of 5 minute walking lunges in programming has dropped my knee pain down to like 20% of what it was. Doing that 3 times a week. It's 15 minutes a week and it will save you probably an hour a week in like warm up time. Like it's crazy how well just 5 minute walking lunges work. So that like that idea is try to what that's what I try to bring to accessory work. It's just maintenance.
Dude, and when you're getting after, like this is the thing I've realized is like again, once I got past that like 350 pound mark on the cleans, it's fucking hard to do anything else after your snatch,
Yeah,
cleans,
dude.
and squats, dude. I'm like, and like right away, I was able to do a bunch of stuff because I was fucking weak with the Ole, so I wasn't
Yeah.
like killing myself over. I mean, it was like it was my one rep max then, but like my one
Mhm.
rep max then and how taxing that was compared to my one rep max now and how taxing that is, and like working off of that thing, it's fucking like by the end of those sessions, you would program like 3 sets of 8 back extensions, and I was like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
dude, I'm gonna like have to grind to get through this. Whereas like typically programming that at the end of the program, it's like it's you bat your eye at it and it's
Yeah.
nothing.
Easy. Yeah, I mean that brings up a pretty important point, like especially with weightlifting, the more efficient you are, the more developed you are as an athlete, the training looks so different. Just as far as like what stimulus you're getting from what's on the piece of paper that you're reading.
I
Like
know it
if
looks so bare bones, and then you fucking
yeah,
do it, you're like, holy shit,
shit.
dude.
Yeah, if I gave my program what I'm doing right now in the gym to someone that just started this, they would get it done in like 30 minutes and leave and be like, "What the fuck was that?" But like because my nervous system is so primed for weightlifting, I can work up to one heavy set in like a clean complex and get everything I need to get out of that. But if someone's been doing this for 2 months and you give them, it's like work up to do 6 total sets from bar to your top set. The workout's going to take 15 minutes. That's all you're doing. They would do fucking less than nothing for them. They would just leave upset. So like I think you can definitely like throw more volume and stuff on newer lifters without any real repercussions.
Yeah, and I 100% felt that. And when I was like starting, I was snatching 185. I was able to do like a bunch of stuff, and my workouts were like an hour 30. And now it's like I'm snatching, cleaning, and squatting, and my workout is an hour 30. I'm like, God
Yeah,
damn, dude, this is crazy.
it's still pretty good. That's still pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. When you before you got onto the current journey that you're on, and we'll talk about that, you went on that kind of like health journey, that little like
Yeah.
12-week like weight loss, kind of like just get the body feeling right. Was that a build up to what you're doing now to like make sure everything's healthy, or was it just like you wanted to do that in that moment? And what was that process like?
It definitely was. So I don't think I've talked about this like strictly. I might have talked about it on Tim's podcast, but I had like a checklist for allowing myself to do what I'm doing right now. The first thing was getting my blood work looking good, getting healthy, um, losing weight, losing a lot of body fat. I've always chilled around 20%. I got down to like 12% body fat. The next thing was quitting nicotine just to make sure I'm not stressing my heart more than I need to. That sucked. Quitting nicotine sucked, but we got it done. I had like withdrawals for like 6 months. It was terrible. Then just getting sober, making sure I'm not drinking. It's been 18 months since I had a drink, so like
So
that's
good,
good.
dude.
All those things are checked off. So it was like, all right, it's go time. So yeah, like the whole look like you live thing, I was like, how can I get healthy, make it a good use of time, and just kind of combine those, and it ended up working out pretty well. I actually really, really like those programs. Those are going to be my off-season programs from now on. Um, but yeah, that was specifically to make sure my body's ready for what I'm doing right now.
And what are we doing right now? What's the current journey we're
Having
on?
some beer. doing the type of weightlifting I watched coming up in weightlifting and didn't understand. And I was like, what the fuck? What is so different about these
How are
guys?
these dudes doing this, dude? It
Yeah.
doesn't make any
I
sense.
remember when I just started weightlifting, I was 14 and I had just snatched, I think it was 50 kilos for the first time. I had just started weightlifting and I was walking through Walmart. I don't know why I remember this, but I think I saw like a barbell in their little fitness section. And I was like, I remember watching a video of Klokov snatch 196 kilos. And I was like, I'm never gonna do that. I was like so sad. And I didn't understand it. And then eventually I learned more and more about what's going on in these Eastern European countries and like the corruption and whatnot. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. And then it's been 10 years since I kind of figured all that out. And like, I'm just like, I've been doing this for half my life. I'm gonna fucking give myself the opportunity to actually do the sport in the way that I've always admired it. So that's what we're doing. It's pretty cool.
Do you feel like you reached like, because I was wondering, like, interested in this, like when you reached the level that you reached, do you feel
Mhm.
like you had reached the peak of like the natural potential that you have? Is that like a thing? Do you feel like you could have squeezed like what's like when you reach that level? Like, so, I'm so in the newbie gains of like, dude, if I just do something right for like 6 months, I get a 10-pound PR, and it's like it's super easy. But then you get to a level where you're at where it's like you could train for fucking 3 years and get a 10-pound PR, maybe. You know what I mean? And that's like a massive deal. Like, what
Yeah.
do you feel like you had reached that point where you had squeezed it? Was it just like I'm in my prime and I want to add this stuff on when I'm in my prime, not when I'm past it? Like, what's that kind of thought process?
So I think for me, with my brain and my outlook on weightlifting, I did reach my natural potential. I think if I had perfect discipline and perfect motivation, then maybe I could have squeezed out more. I don't think I could have squeezed out much more though, but I was pretty over the whole like, let's dial in for half a year just to maybe get a 1 kilo PR. Like I'm not interested in doing that anymore. Like I'd rather just like be able to snatch and clean and jerk like snatch over 300 pounds, clean and jerk like 370 and just chill. Like I'd much rather do that than like sell my soul,
Do
cut out my
nothing else
social
in
life
life.
entirely, yeah, just to maybe get a 1 kilo PR. So like if I was a psycho and was down to push through that, I probably could have got a few more kilos on the total, but um unfortunately I did not want to do that. So I think I was pretty much capped. I don't think I could have gotten much more.
So then when those like when those like Olympic level lifters that are natural,
Hmm.
allegedly, right? Like they do that, is that like just a thing you accept? Is just like I'm just trying to put out the same total. It's like no longer a PR chase. It's trying to hit the same total because I know that a win type thing. Like that seems like a total mindset shift of everything else we do in the gym.
Yeah.
At like such a high, does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
it's everything else is like it's a PR, like that's all that matters is the PR, 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 PR. Even if you match your old thing, it's like really like that's not cheered upon. It's not talked about in the way like in the lifting community. But when you reach that level, like is that what it turns into? Kind of that seems like a fucking mental grind, bro.
Maintenance and just like being okay with like peaking and being 10 kilos under your PRs. Like that becomes the thing. There's an athlete who has won nationals, I think 7 or 8 times. Maybe it's more. His name's Travis Cooper. Um, but talk about a guy that just has been consistent as he's one of the greatest American weightlifters as far as it comes to like in the USA accolades. Like his rap sheet when it comes to national wins and American Open wins is like I think there's like one or two people in all of history that are past him. But I think he's like getting up near 40 years old now, still competing at a very high level. And he's been doing that since he was like 16 years old. Like it's crazy. And he's just cool with it. It doesn't like never taken time off weightlifting. I mean, he has taken a little bit of time off, but he's always around. He's always competing well. And I don't have that brain. So
Yeah, dude, there's no way. There's no way I could do
yeah.
where even where you're talking about where you go 6 months to PR 1 kilo. Like I would go, I think I would go mentally insane.
Yeah, and now like some people out there will go 6 months just to get their numbers back to like 92% of what they once were. And like my brain just doesn't function that way. I admire it, but I don't have it.
And so what's the gear journey now? Like what's the goal? Is it just seeing how far you can take it in the next couple months? Do you have like set numbers that you really want to hit? How we feeling on it?
Definitely
Like
definitely don't have set numbers just because I don't want to get attached to those numbers and then like say I'm getting close to them, but the blood work's not looking good. So like,
Push through and
oh,
fuck yourself up.
or let's just fucking run it 2 more weeks. Let's up it up for 2 more weeks. That's what I don't want to happen. So I'm just like, I have my protocol. I have my health guidelines. If I go beyond those health guidelines, we cut it off and we just see what we can do while maintaining health. And if anything changes, then we stop. And wherever we end up, I don't care if we end up like 5 kilos above our all-time PRs, that's fine with me. Like, I just wanted to have this experience, and wherever we end up is it's a win.
And how
As long
long
as
has it been since you like last got a PR?
2024, November 2024, I think.
Yeah, so this would be a two like once if I mean because you hit a jerk PR on Friday, right? Was that what that was?
That
Was
was
the
on Tuesday.
Tuesday? Yep. So and that was the first like big PR in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But what? There was the 200 kilo clean and jerk that I did. That was my PR. And then there were a couple other PRs, but between 20, I didn't PR from 2017 all the way to 2022. And I lifted the whole fucking time. I think that's what like tapped my tank. I was like, fuck this, dude. If I can't PR, I'm not doing it. So, like that's something you'll find in weightlifting a lot is people just you gotta get used to training without PRs. Like there's gonna be stretches of training, especially if you want this to be your sport, where you're not gonna PR for 2, 3 years and you're doing everything right, showing up to the gym all the time, and it's just not happening. Like every athlete I've ever talked to has gone through that. No matter how good the coaching, the recovery, anything is, like it's just part of the sport. You got to earn your stripes.
And what's been the biggest difference with Olympic lifting specifically of being on gear versus being off of it? Like why do you feel like it's gonna make the big difference? Is it just like being able to feel good and coming to the gym? Is it just like the hypertrophy response like you're getting right away? What's the extra I know you mentioned like you feel like you have an extra gear. Like
Yeah.
what's been that like?
It's like imagine weightlifting is a video game and you just turn like the difficulty sliders all the way down. Like it's it's literally what it is. Like you wake up, you feel good every day. You take the empty bar at the start of your session, you put it over your head, and it's like we're ready to go right now. It's like the body is just always ready. And there's an extra gear. It's like when a weight starts feeling heavy, it's like, all right, I need to try a little harder. Then you try a little harder and it just feels lighter. Then you try a little harder and it just feels lighter. Like it's a really weird, fucking awesome thing. Like it's just I mean, it makes sense when you watch the Eastern European guys and you see the way they move and you like see them have like shaky warm-ups and they get to a heavy weight and they just smoke it. And you're like, what the fuck was that?
Now you know
That's
what it is.
I completely get it. Like I was working up on cleans yesterday. I did a clean pull plus low hang clean pull plus clean complex at 180 kilos. And it was 160 felt like shit, 170 felt like shit. Then it's like, all right, 180, this is our weight. We gotta dial in. It felt so easy. And it's just a weird kind of your nervous system's more stimulated all the time. I've gained 20 pounds since I started
Already?
6 weeks ago. Yeah. And
Damn, that's insane.
I still have like abs in the morning, which is crazy. Like it's not, I mean, I'm probably holding a ton of like water in my muscles and stuff, but I'm fine with that. Like that's going to help recovery a lot. Um, it's just the response you get to, you can do less and get more out of it. So your body's going to feel better because you don't have to do 5 sets of 5 back squat. You can work up to a heavy set of 5, get the same kind of stimulus, and save your knees, chill, and you'll still get stronger. So you feel better and you're stronger. It's there's some negatives, but like it's pretty cool. It's hard to talk about it because I don't want to like entice people to get. I don't want to be one of those influencers that like steroids are the shit, do steroids, but like they're popular because of how well they work.
They
Like,
work? Yeah, you're telling me they work?
well, yeah.
Has it changed your programming at all? And because I feel like that's something that a lot of people kind of actually jack up is like they go on this stuff and then they just do more and more and more until they like end up just snapping something in half. And I know you mentioned how you didn't want people necessarily like copying the program that you're running, but then you mentioned that you are able to do less and get more out of it. So like what's been that like programming approach?
So when I first started, I was like, I need to up my training a lot. I need to make sure that I'm training really, really hard. But then I quickly realized like how fast I was getting strong. And I was like, if I'm pushing volume hard while I'm doing this, I'm gonna fuck my body up. So it's kind of been, I want to keep the frequency high. So I'm training 8 times a week right now, 2 days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But the frequency's high, but the intensity is also high, but the volume is pretty fucking low. Normally for like my PM session yesterday, we had 8 singles in the snatch, worked up to a clean complex, 3x3 back squat. That was it. And that was plenty of stimulus for me. Like I'm sore right now from it. Um, but I'll probably wake up tomorrow and just feel brand new. It's all good. But yeah, I was definitely in the camp of like, we got to make sure we're wringing this thing out and getting our money's worth with what we're doing. And then I quickly realized like, oh, we're getting strong fast. We need to make sure we slow down a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to get injured in week 8. And we decided to hop on, and now we're fucking hurt. We didn't even get to maximize or do what we were trying to do with this whole thing. So I'm just making sure that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, and you're the first person I've heard like you even were talking about. I thought one of the really cool things that you do is like you cap your Friday sessions at like a like what was it like 5 kilos more than last week? Because I was like, dude, that's you're the first person I've ever heard actually like do that because now like people are just feeling amazing. So it's like fucking 20, bro. Let's go,
Yeah.
let's go. I'm like, that seems like a tendon and ligament is gonna snap in half. Like your muscles and body
Yeah.
can feel good, but there's parts that are not adapting as quick. So I thought that was a really cool like governor that you put on the program.
Yeah, it's that red line I was talking about earlier. Like if 5 kilos a week in each lift, that'll keep me right here. If I go 10 over, then we pass a little bit, then things get weird. And then it's like, oh, then I go into the gym the following week, I total less. It's like, fuck, now our momentum's gone. Now I'm losing confidence. Now all this shit's happening. So it's definitely more mental just to make sure like I don't blow up too fast. But, you know, I think I'll lift that going forward because now if I am feeling good, it's going to be PR time. I'm not going to stop myself from PRing. That makes
Is there anything you are adding in that you weren't adding in before, maybe accessory wise or like just outside of the gym wise for things like the tendons, ligaments to like be able to keep up with all the other stuff that's going up?
a little bit. I've been saunaing a lot, and that's more for like cardiovascular health and stuff like that. But I have noticed some benefit as far as the way my body feels. I'm saunaing like a total of 90 minutes a week. I'll go to the gym by my house just for like a 45-minute mobility session if I'm feeling really bound up and fucked up. That's been helpful. But like nothing, I don't want to do too much. I never want to do too much to where I'm like exhausting my brain. Like if I feel like I'm constantly on this weightlifting grind, like if I have an hour where I'm just relaxed on my phone, I want to feel like, okay, that's fine. We're chilling. That's you're recovering. It's all good. I don't want to feel like I could be stretching right now, could be doing something right now. I don't want to ever have that feeling because that shit taxes you. Like you don't realize it, but this constant anxiety and stress over your training and feeling like you're not doing enough negatively impacts your training.
I know it's like the process of like thinking that you aren't doing enough is costing you more than just like not doing enough in a sense. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I've lived through it, so I know whenever I'm becoming too much of a psycho. All right, just fucking. I used to like section. I talked about this on my stream yesterday, but I used to section off a time during the week for me to not give a shit. Like Sundays until 5 p.m. If you don't want to eat, don't eat. If you don't want to fucking stretch, don't stretch. If you don't want to drink water, fuck it. Just sit on the couch and do whatever. Like stop being a psycho for just half a day. And then 5 p.m. comes, lock in until this time comes again next week. You got to like decompress, let some air out of the tires every now and then, or you're going to explode.
fuck yeah, dude, this podcast was dope. So the thing you're doing right now is live streams and then one YouTube video a week. You want to tell people a little bit about that and how they can watch them?
Yeah. Twitch, Dozer WL, all one word, all lowercase. That's where you can watch the live streams. Schedule's crazy, but it's in the description. The heavy sessions are Monday through Wednesday at 1:30, and then Saturday at 11 a.m. And then there's some like lighter morning sessions that I do as well. YouTube every Sunday around 11 o'clock. I upload like a weekly update video with a max out attached to that. to where you can kind of get the full update on the week. And then obviously on Instagram, I'm posting my shit all over the place.
And
So
how do they
catch
get their name on the wall?
subscribe on Twitch. We have 425 names on the wall now.
Dude, that
Yeah.
when I saw you do that, I'm like, that
Yeah.
is the best idea ever. That's so dope.
Pretty crazy to look at. And we're giving away an Alico bar at 1,000. So
Fuck yeah, dude. And is
Alico
dude,
bar.
how has it been? So this is sorry, last question of the podcast, and we can get going. But
You're good.
the process of training by yourself, and like one of the things that has helped me a ton of training by myself is having the YouTubes and feeling like I'm training with people. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be super cool to like have those names on the wall to wherever it may be just feeling like a bitch or just feeling down that
Yeah.
day or like mopey. It's like, dude, this is
Yeah.
who we're training with, right? Like, isn't that fucking sweet?
It's really cool. I've had that moment so many times to where I was just like not feeling it. Then I'll walk out in the garage and I'll see all the names. I'm like, these people are like just fucking giving me like, what is it, $2.50 to support me? I'm like, they actually fucking give a shit. I should probably give a shit too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. It's a good motivator for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of the day and coming on this podcast.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you guys for listening. Keep chopping wood.
Thank you for listening. Join us next week as we dive down another rabbit hole. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star rating. Follow us on Instagram at Austin Jochum to stay updated on future podcast guests. Keep chopping wood.